Hello and welcome. Tonight, Senate orders investigation into rising safety concerns within the aviation sector following an incident involving an Air aircraft at the Port Harcourt International Airport. And 24 hours after Enugu Governor Peter Mbah dumped the PDP, his Bayelsa state counterpart, Doye Dere, resigns from the party. The Independent National Electoral Commission meets civil society organizations and the media seeks their support to deliver credible elections. Plus, tonight in Israel, hostage families confirmed the identities of 3 or 4 bodies handed over by Hamas in Gaza.
And on business, Nigeria's headline inflation drops for 6 consecutive months to 18.02% in September.
And on sports news tonight, Ahmedabad, India has been recommended as the host city for the 2030 Commonwealth Games. The Indian city has been chosen ahead of a rival bid from Abuja in Nigeria.
And from Abuja, the nation's capital, Delta State government launches State Security Trust Fund as Governor Sharif Upweriwori says no hiding place for criminals in the state.
Good evening. It's great to have you join us. We do begin tonight in the Senate with the order of a full-scale investigation into rising safety concerns within the aviation sector, following revelations from the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau as the NSIB about a runway overrun incident involving an Air aircraft at the Port Harcourt International Airport. The resolution was passed today after a motion was raised by Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari on the need to strengthen aviation safety following the NSIB report on the Air runway incident. The Senate directed its Committee on Aviation to engage all relevant stakeholders, including the NSIB, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, and airline operators, and to submit a comprehensive report within 6 weeks. Our National Assembly correspondent, Gloria Mazeke, reports.
Lawmakers reconvened for another legislative session with the salient subject of safety in the aviation sector as a major topic for debate, among other issues.
Like the previous speaker,
raising alarm over the infrastructure gaps and regulatory concerns, Senator Abdul Fattah leads the debate.
I will see this opportunity to urge the Federal Ministry of Aviation to intensify efforts to at least construct an additional runway in Abuja. Many times now these days when you are coming from outside, you'll be delayed 1, 2, 3 hours, saying that they are working on the runway.
In many occasions, I have stopped to fly because of inadequacy of pilots' preparation. Some of the pilots are not prepared. Some of them use India hemp. So NCA must come back to their duty.
The Senate do mandate the Committee on Aviation to conduct a thorough investigation of these issues that have endangered aviation in Nigeria.
The Senate adopts the resolutions.
With the members of the committee, please do a wonderful job and submit your report within 4 weeks.
Lawmakers in a major push towards advancing the fight against sickle cell disorder among millions of Nigerians debate a bill seeking to establish the Sickle Cell Research and Therapy Center in Nigeria.
Poignantly, Nigeria is regarded as the global epicenter of the sickle cell disorder, contributing about half of the estimated 300,000 newborns with sickle cell disorder annually. The bill seeks to establish the sickle cell centers in each of the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja.
Rather than establishing them as isolated centers, they should be made appendages to the university teaching hospitals in these 6 geopolitical zones.
The bill subsequently skills second reading.
2 weeks.
The Senate also confirmed the appointment of Mr. Louis Odion and Umusalma Rabiu as Executive Commissioners of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. From the National Assembly, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
And to politics now. In Bayelsa State, weeks of speculation about Governor Doye Dere's next political move have finally been put to rest, at least partially. The governor has formally announced his resignation from the People's Democratic Party, though he stopped short of declaring which party would join next. The announcement was made during an executive council session attended by members of the State House of Assembly.
Today, the 15th day of October 2025, I wish to formally notify you that in keeping with the extant protocols, I, Governor Doye Diri, do hereby resign my membership of the People's Democratic Party. And I'm not going to resign alone. And as you can see, I'm here with Mr. Speaker, Deputy Speaker, and all the members of our party who are going to go with me. And so today, I have formally resigned my membership of the People's Democratic Party for very obvious reasons. I'm grateful to all my friends and supporters who have stood by us and with us.
And in the wake of the latest defection by the Bayelsa State Governor Doye Diri to the APC, Senator Seriki Dixon, representing PDP Bayelsa West, has strongly criticized the move, reaffirming his commitment to the PDP and warning against the dangers of a one-party state. Speaking after plenary today, the former Bayelsa governor declared that he remains firmly in the party, describing himself as a soldier of democracy who is committed to strengthening multi-party politics in Nigeria. According to him, I am where I have always been. I don't believe Nigeria should become a one-party state. As a Democrat, I understand the ups and downs of a process, but I remain constant and steadfast in the PDP. And taking a swipe at some governors in the party, including Governor Diri, Senator Dixon accused them of failing to provide leadership within the party and contributing to its internal crisis before jumping ship.
The governor consulted me several times to his credit. And I was not convinced because I didn't see any compelling reason for a second-term governor to defect. No reason. And we know the issues in the PDP, but issues are there to be solved by the governors and the leaders. Have they not been the leaders of the parties? If we don't succeed in retrieving the PDP, in saving the PDP, then we'll be part of a collective decision, which again should not be the ruling party, because I believe there must be opposition. A democracy without opposition ceases to be democracy. It becomes dictatorship from that day. It becomes totalitarianism from that day. Position does not mean you have to be fighting. You have to be, here am I, supporting the president's nomination. By the Constitution, it is the responsibility of the president to forward a name of INEC chairman to us. And he has done that. I know there are people who say a president who is partisan should not have that power. But that is not the law as it is. That is the law as it ought to be, probably.
And still on the defections, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, says those who criticize him for working for the All Progressives Congress government are now defecting to the same party. The minister gave the reaction during the flag-off of the second phase of the Outer Southern Expressway in the FCT. He also commended President Bola Tinubu for removing fuel subsidy, explaining that the removal has enabled state governments to pay their workers. Our correspondent Kumbi Abuluade reports.
The Outer Southern Expressway, OSEX, in the nation's capital, which covers a total length of 67 kilometers, is now in its second phase of development as the FCT administration flags off the construction of the main carriageways from Ring Road 1 to Ring Road 2 junction. The OSEX, which links the FCT to Kogi State in full-scale development, had its first phase from the Presidential Villa to Ring Road 1, commissioned in June 2024 by President Bola Tinubu.
The Outer Southern Expressway is the primary road bounding the federal capital city. In full scope, it's a 10-lane expressway comprising of 2 main carriageways of 3 lanes each and 2 service carriageways of 2 lanes each.
Aside from officials of the FCTA, the National Vice Chairman of the All Progressives Congress for the South-South region, Mr. Victor Gaydam, and his counterpart from the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Dan Obi, were in attendance. The event was also attended by the former Super Eagles captain, Joseph Yobo, among others. The FCT Minister, Mr. Nyesom Wike, highlights the benefits of the project.
This road is very, very, very important. In fact, before the Apo Junction to Wasa was done, you hardly can even imagine when you are coming into the city, how many hours it will take you. Horrible, horrible. But thank God, we're trying to do all we can to give the people of FCT the happiness that they desire.
The minister used the opportunity to speak on the latest resignations from the People's Democratic Party.
People who said, I want to destabilize the party, I'm working for APC, all of them now are in APC. So, which means, if it is true, they should commend me for working for where they are heading to.
After the speeches, the minister goes ahead to flag off the project. The road construction is expected to be completed within 12 months to ease traffic congestion along the Apo-Wasa district. From Abuja, Kumbi Apoluade, Channels Television News.
And the Forum of State Chairmen of the People's Democratic Party have distanced themselves from the suit seeking to stop the planned elective convention of the party and to suspend 2 of its members over alleged attempts to stop the party's forthcoming national convention, scheduled for 15th and 16th of November in Ibadan. The state chairman reaffirmed the suspension of the officials at a news briefing in Abuja. The suspended members are Austin Wachuku, chairman of Imo PDP, and Ama Abraham Nana, chairman of Abia State PDP. The decision to suspend the 2 chairmen was first taken at a meeting on Tuesday, where the forum also unanimously appointed the Edo State PDP chairman, Mr. Tony Azegbemi, as the acting chairman of the forum.
"28 of us were in town yesterday, and we deliberated, and the secretary had told you what we've done. We've suspended those 2 members from our forum. We have a new chairman, person of myself, and we state very clearly that this state PDP state chairman forum, we distance ourselves from that court case. We disassociate ourselves from that court case. We condemn it in the strongest terms. We believe that is not the way to go. We believe some of us cannot be used to bring down this house. And so it's very clear the position of the state chairman of the PDP across the 36 states and FCT included. And this is where we want to draw the attention of Nigerians to this fact. And we cannot make this point clear enough and strongly enough, that this is a major plot by the clueless-led APC federal government to have a one-party state, to weaken all other opposition parties in this country and have a one-party state. That is why you see our governors, members of the National Assembly, members of the House of Assembly, being intimidated, coerced, forced to join them.
And in part 2, after the break, the Independent National Electoral Commission meets civil society organizations and the media, seeks their support to deliver credible elections. you join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the News at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. The Senate orders investigation into rising safety concerns within the aviation sector following an incident involving an Air Peace aircraft at the Port Harcourt International Airport. And 24 hours after Enugu Governor Peter Mbah dumped the PDP, his Bayelsa state counterpart, Doye Diri, resigns from the party. And the Independent National Electoral Commission meets civil society organizations and the media, seeks their support to deliver credible elections. And Israeli hostage families confirmed the identities of 3 of 4 bodies handed over by Hamas in Gaza. And St. Alphonsus Catholic Church Field, Ekempo, Idemili North local government area of Anambra State, is filled to capacity as the people of Idemili North declare full support for the re-election of Professor Chukwuma Soludo and his deputy, Dr. Nneka Chukwu Ibezim. Addressing the people at the campaign rally, Governor Chukwuma Soludo appreciates the solidarity and notes the unprecedented dimension of solidarity for his re-election, which he says is now people's project with massive financial donations, and gives them assurances that under APGA leadership, massive and accelerated development will continue to hold sway in Anambra State.
The Idemili North campaign rally for Governor Chukwuma Soludo provides a great opportunity for the people to reassure him of their loyalty and unalloyed support for his re-election come November the 8th, 2025.
Awarded by Global Power Forum.
An excited crowd welcomes Governor Chukwuma Soludo and his deputy, Nneka Chukwu Ibezim, to St. Alphonsus Catholic Church Field, Ekempo, venue of the rally. They are happy to back his re-election bid following his record-breaking achievements in Anambra State in general and Idemili North in particular.
What you see here, the entire population here are all from Idemili North. We did not import anybody. Only Idemili North people are here. The population we are looking at here. And we want to tell you that all you have done for the people of Idemili North will show you that appreciation on November 8th.
Your Excellency, I welcome you. Thank you very much for your work. Thank you very much for all you have done for teachers and learners in Anambra State. Thank you very much for the contribution. Salary, 25th of every month we receive our salary. ADTS!
What we have here today are people that were drawn from the polling units. APGA, for second tenor. Mr. Governor, you're welcome to Idemili North, and we are ready to vote you. Thank you, sir.
The APGA administration, led by Professor Chukwuma Soludo, is described as all-inclusive, compassionate, and grassroots-based that convinced 2 prominent people from the local government, Stanley Okeke and Chibuzo Okeke, to pledge their loyalty to APGA. The state chairman of the party, Ifeatu Obi Okoye, conducts the reception into the party. It's Governor Soludo's 5th visit to Idemili, where he continues to enjoy massive solidarity and financial support from numerous communities and individuals. He announces confidently that Anambra is on the rise with all sectors contributing to a prosperous and livable homeland.
Anambra is on the rise. We haven't seen it what they've seen in the last 3.5 years. Anambra has not seen under any other regime, even in 8 years. Anambra is now one of the safest, if not the safest state in Nigeria. You sleep with 2 eyes closed. Are we talking about infrastructure and economic transformation, where we have more than 1,000 kilometers of road, and we're spouting with a quality Anambra hasn't seen before.
He urges the people of Udemili North to get ready to vote as APGA insists on a free and transparent election, void of any preferential treatment.
An independent National Electoral Commission is seeking the collaboration of civil society organizations and the media to deliver credible elections in the country. The acting chairman of the commission, Mrs. May Agbamuche, made the appeal at a consultative meeting with heads of civil society groups and media in Abuja. The meeting is holding ahead as part of the preparations for the November governorship elections in Anambra State and February 2026 area council election in the Federal Capital Territory.
This meeting with members of the civil society groups and the media is part of the regular consultative engagement with stakeholders ahead of the forthcoming Anambra State government election and other off-cycle elections slated for 2026.
On behalf of the Commission,
the acting INEC chairman briefs the gathering on the preparations for the elections as she seeks their collaboration to deliver credible polls.
At the last quarterly meeting, the Commission announced a number of elections and electoral activities. These are the by-elections in 12 states of the Federation on the 16th of August 2025, the Anambra State governorship election on the 8th of November 2025, the area council elections in the FCT on the 21st of February 2026. On the part of the Commission, I wish to assure you of our commitment to deepening democracy through inclusive, transparent, and credible electoral processes.
The meeting is the first official engagement with the civil society groups since the acting chairman assumed office on October 7 this year.
We're excited to pledge our...
Representatives of the groups speak on the expectations from the new INEC leadership while pledging their support.
For us in civil society, we are gratified that INEC is consolidating on the innovations and indeed the technologies that were introduced and will ensure that we optimize them much better in Anambra State. We believe that subnational elections are as good as the managers, the capacity, the competence, the quality of the resident electoral commissioners and returning officers who will deliver that election is important. It will deflect attention from Abuja and will help to ensure that those who conduct those elections are directly held responsible for inaction or action that takes place within those elections.
INEC is expected to conduct the Anambra State governorship election next month and prepare for the FCT area council elections for next year. Two critical events ahead of the 2027 general election.
All right, let's head to Abuja studio now for more national stories. Hello, Gloria.
Many thanks, Ladi. To security now, it was an atmosphere of commitment and partnership at the Banquet Hall, Government House, Asaba, as the Delta State government formally launched the Delta State Security Trust Fund, a bold initiative aimed at strengthening security across the state.
The group chairman of Access Holdings PLC, Agboje Ike Imokede, leads members of the organized private sector, oil and gas magnates, investors, as well as state government officials to the banquet hall of the Delta State Government House in Asaba for the launch of the State Security Trust Fund.
Shake all the hands he'd like to shake. Your Excellency.
Welcoming guests to the event, the Executive Secretary of the State Security Trust Fund, Samuel Osasa, highlights the essence of the initiative.
This is not just going to be a talk shop. We are here to raise money.
In a keynote address, retired Deputy Inspector General of Police Marvel Akboibo emphasizes the need for security agencies to work with all other concerned parties to develop strategies to tackle the root causes of insecurity.
To our revered traditional rulers and community leaders, I'm so glad they're here. Your partnership is the bedrock of intelligence and trust in this venture. You are the crucial link that will embed this initiative within our communities.
On his part, Governor Sheriff Oborewori appreciates the donors for the patriotic spirit, assuring them that the funds will be judiciously utilized.
Going forward from this event, I shall set up a committee of diverse experts to help review our strategies and prioritize our interventions, because it's very key, not just raising the money when we don't even really just allow the chairman and the security secretary to be operating. We will not allow that. We make sure the money is being utilized properly. Please join hands with us to build a safer and more prosperous Delta State. Thank you for your attention. God bless you. God bless Delta State.
You can start at 100 million naira.
The fundraising proper then begins with the chairman of the occasion announcing a donation of 100 million naira, while the managing director of Tantita Security Services Nigeria Limited donated the sum of 10 billion naira on behalf of the chairman of the company, Government Ekolo Polo, alias Tom Polo.
Given that the A to Z of banking is here, you can take it to the bank that the banking community will fully support that which we are doing today.
It gives me great honor to stand before you today as the Chief Treasurer of the Delta State Security Trust Fund, a landmark initiative that reflects our shared resolve to make Delta safer, stronger, and more secure.
The launch of the Delta Security Trust Fund marks a major leap towards a more secure Delta state, where government and private investors unite for the safety of lives and property.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria's headline inflation drops for sixth consecutive month to 18.02% in September. That's on Business News. Let's join us again. Welcome back. You're still watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television. Pivoting to the health sector now, the Director General of the National Institute of Cancer's Research and Treatment, NICRAT, Professor Usman Aliyu, says the institute has awarded 10 million naira to successful cancer researchers as part of efforts to aid impactful cancer research in Nigeria. He made the disclosure during the opening ceremony of an event to commemorate the 2025 International Cancer Week in Abuja. According to Professor Aliyu, the seed grant is part of the Strengthening Institutional Capacity for Cancer Research and Implementation in Nigeria initiative, targeting teaching hospitals and early cancer researchers across the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria. He noted that as recent advances in cancer research and treatment embarked upon by the President Tinubu administration has given hope to Nigerians.
It may interest you to know that NICRAT recently launched the Strengthening Institutional Capacity for Cancer Research and Implementation in Nigeria, that is SINCA initiative, which is targeting teaching hospitals and early cancer researchers across the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria. The first phase of which involved distribution of cancer research-related equipment has been completed. We have also conducted capacity-building programs for researchers within the cancer ecosystem. Currently, NICRAT has released a seed grant award of 10 million naira per project to each of the successful cancer researchers. In pursuit of its mandate, the National Institute for Cancer Research and Treatment, within 2 years of its establishment, had signed Memorandum of Understanding with over 20 global cancer experts, such as the famous Mayo Clinic Comprehensive Cancer Centers in the United States, Johns Hopkins University, to enhance cancer research clinical care, training, and public health.
To company news, Future Union Holdings, an investment and development firm, has unveiled an ambitious investment plan worth several billions of dollars to transform critical sectors across Africa, with Nigeria positioned as a central hub for the unprecedented development initiative. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, the chairman of the board of directors of Future Union, Sheikh Abdurrahman Abtani, stressed that Nigeria, as Africa's largest economy and a continental leader, will play a pivotal role in the implementation of the projects. The mega investment by Future Union Nigeria will target aviation, infrastructure, trade, gas, the blue economy, and mining, creating vast opportunities for economic growth, job creation, and regional integration.
Unlocking sustainable prosperity across continents with Nigeria at the heart of its vision. Officials of Future Union Holdings, led by the chairman of the board of directors, are here for a news conference. This multi-billion-dollar commitment is not just about financial investment. It is about building Africa's future through strategic partnerships, sustainable development, and inclusive growth.
We are happy here to come to Nigeria. Inshallah, we are seeing new things here in Nigeria and investments in Nigeria, and seeing the Future Union with partners here in Nigeria, inshallah. And we see the future of Nigeria will be the perfect future for us as the Future Union Group. And we are so happy that we are here.
With over 60 companies across Africa, Future Union is determined to change the business landscape of Nigeria.
We have banks that we collaborate with, huge names that are willing to come into Nigeria to open up a collaboration with your banks, as well as we have international economists who are ready to fix the economy of the country for a better future.
It's a very big privilege to have Sheikh Abdurrahman, His Excellency Sheikh Abdurrahman Abtani, and the CEO, Dr. and every member of the team in Nigeria, and they are ready to do a lot of business in Nigeria. I can see you're asking about a figure. At Future Union don't have a figure. Wherever, if Nigeria can give us what we want, we can invest any amount for Nigeria.
The portfolio of Future Union Nigeria is highlighted.
It have already under umbrella 60 companies for more sector, oil and gas, all energy, okay, and construction, infrastructure, aviation, for railway. We have communication and for transportation.
With its headquarters in Qatar, Future Union is an investment corporation with a well-known reputation of managing diverse portfolio across asset classes, countries, and industries.
And that's it from the nation's capital. It's over now to Will Ibong in Lagos for business news.
Thank you, Gloria. Nigeria's headline inflation rate dropped for the 6th consecutive month in September, and this follows the impact of lower petrol price on transportation costs and the easing of various food prices by the early harvest season. According to latest data from the National Bureau of Statistics, the headline inflation rate fell significantly to 18.02% last month, the lowest since 2022, down from 20.12% recorded in August. Further highlights of the NBS figures shows that food sub-index fell sharply from 21.87% to 16.87%, while core inflation sub-index declined from 20.33% to 19.53%. However, according to some experts, like the financial derivatives company, the drop is unlikely to be sustained. Meanwhile, the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, CPP, has welcomed the fall in Nigeria's inflation rate to 18.02% in September from 20.12% in August, describing it as a sign of improving economic stability. Despite the progress, CPP warns that high cost in food Food, transport, energy, and housing continue to strain households and businesses. To sustain the gains, CPP CEO Dr. Muda Yusuf urged the government to strengthen food security, improve power supply, cut logistic costs, and maintain fiscal discipline. He stresses that lower inflation should now translate into real economic relief for citizens and businesses. And with that, we check in with the domestic equities market, which rebounded today as the index rose by 2 basis points. John Mekwa has the details.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Stock Market Report. Well, on Wednesday, market started in the green territory at the NGEX, and it hit 148,000 level intraday. However, at the close of trade, there was a bit of profit taken, and that brought us down back to 147,000 level. However, the all shares still closed in the green, 0.02% at the close of trade, and also there were some gains, about 9 billion naira added to the market cap. Look at the sectors now. Banking retains the red color at the close of trade. The big guys are still losing out some money, profit taking on them. That's why banking is in the red. However, consumer goods has recovered at the close of trade today. International Breweries Champion, they did that. And then oil and gas at the close of trade also recovered, just like consumer goods, because of O&O mostly. Looking at the gainers, we see that SFS real estate investment got some attention. Gained 9.88%. Royal X, that's insurance, also gained, as well as Intergens, that's also insurance. So insurance, we see got a bit of recovery from what they were at intraday. Looking at the losers, and we see Academy, Triple L, and IMG. At the close of trade, however, we hear the sound of the bull again.
Thank you, Ini. Let's hope the bull makes a reappearance tomorrow. Let's see the snapshot now of other major equities and how they performed today. And that's business. It's back to Laddie for more on the news at 10.
Thanks, Will. Well, still to come on the news at 10, Israeli hostage families confirmed the identities of 3 or 4 bodies handed over by Hamas in Gaza. Stay with us. And Israel says 1 of 4 bodies handed over by Hamas overnight does not match any of the hostages. The government says there'll be no compromise on the return of dead hostages, with 21 still in Gaza. Here's Simon Pusey with more on this and other international news and around the world in 5 from our London studio.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Israeli hostage families have confirmed the identities of 3 of 4 bodies handed over by Hamas in Gaza on Tuesday. The 4th body does not match any of the known hostages. So far, 7 hostages' bodies are confirmed to have been sent back from Gaza. Hamas has yet to return the other bodies, as agreed under a ceasefire, with Israel threatening to further restrict humanitarian aid until the remains of all 28 hostages are returned. Prime Minister Netanyahu says they also need Hamas to disarm and demilitarize.
We agreed that we should, the conditions in his 20-point plan are very clear. It's not only that we get the hostages out without getting our military out, but that we would subsequently have both demilitarization and disarmament. They're not the same thing. First, Hamas has to give up its arms. And second, you want to make sure that there are no weapons factories inside Gaza. There's no smuggling of weapons into Gaza.
An elite military unit says it has seized power in Madagascar from President Andraswell following weeks of youth-led protests in the Indian Ocean island. Standing outside the presidential palace, the CAPSAT chief, Colonel Michael Radrianira, said the military would form a government and hold elections within 2 years. He also suspended key democratic institutions like the Electoral Commission. Gen Z protesters will be part of the changes because, he said, the movement was created in the streets, so we have to respect their demands. Troops and protesters have been celebrating the apparent ousting of the president with thousands waving flags in the capital. The US has struck another vessel off the coast of Venezuela, killing 6 people. In a post on Truth Social, Donald Trump said the vessel belonged to narco-terrorists and that it was trafficking narcotics. This is the 5th strike of its kind by the Trump administration on a boat accused of trafficking drugs on international waters since September. In total, 27 people have been reportedly killed, but the US has not provided evidence or details about the identities of the vessels or those on board. French Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu has told Parliament he backs suspending controversial 2023 pension reforms in the face of crucial votes of no confidence later this week. The changes, which raised the retirement age from 62 to 64, were seen as signature reforms in Emmanuel Macron's presidency. Lecornu was reappointed Prime Minister last week, only 4 days after he resigned, and needs the support of Socialist MPs in Parliament if his government is to survive. The prominent Cuban dissident, Jose Daniel Ferrer, has arrived in Miami after being freed from a Cuban prison. Shortly after landing in the United States, the pro-democracy activist called for the release of hundreds of political prisoners held in Cuba. Earlier this month, the 55-year-old revealed that he had taken the difficult decision to go into exile after being told his wife could also be jailed and their son sent to an institution for juvenile offenders. In a statement, the Cuban Foreign Ministry said Mr. Ferrer and his family had left the country following a formal request from the US government and insisted that Mr. Ferrer had given his explicit acceptance. The former Kenyan Prime Minister, Raila Odinga, has died at the age of 80. Odinga died on Wednesday while receiving treatment at a hospital in India. In recent weeks, there had been speculation about his health, although family members and political allies had dismissed reports suggesting he was critically ill. Politicians and other leaders, including Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, have sent their condolences. Footage shows a house drifting out to sea after the remnants of Typhoon Halong hit Alaska over the weekend. After crossing the Pacific Ocean, the storm brought hurricane-force winds that left 1 person dead and 2 others missing. Authorities have rescued 24 people from homes that drifted out to sea, as around 1,300 were displaced. And a family of ducks have brought traffic on a Perth freeway to a standstill. Main Roads, Western Australia's motorway transport agency, posted the footage on X, warning motorists to be aware and be alert. According to local reports, it is the 2nd day in a row that ducks had caused peak hour chaos on the same junction.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Simon, India is set to host the centenary Commonwealth Games in 2030. The city of Ahmedabad in the west of the country has been chosen ahead of APGA in Nigeria by the Evaluation Commission from the governing body Commonwealth Sport. The decision to hold the Games there in 5 years' time is now expected to be ratified at the organization's General Assembly in Glasgow on November the 26th. Africa's wait to hold the event for a first time, therefore, continues. In tennis, Naomi Osaka has battled through injury and her emotions to reach the quarterfinals of the Japan Open, choking back tears after hitting the winning shot against defending champion Susan Lamons. Osaka.
Thank you, Olumide. And the main news again. The Senate orders investigation into rising safety concerns within the aviation sector following an incident involving an Air Peace aircraft at the Pawtucket International Airport. And that's it on News at 10. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ladi Williams. From all of us here, have a good night.